Good morning, y'all. It's Sunday morning. Some of y'all have asked me to number my videos so they'd be easier to watch in the right sequence. Y'all know that I don't always put my videos out in the sequence that I make them. Duh, imagine that. But so I'm not going to do that. And in fact, I have made over 700 videos. Y'all, that is so crazy. When I think about that, I'm like, how is that possible? How in the world? Thank you, sweetie. This guy just got over. When you get on the highway at some points, it's not that you have to get in a left-hand lane. It's that it merges into a lane. So the people that are behind you, if they can, it's nice if they move over a lane and let you just blend into traffic. And I do that. If I'm in another lane and I can move over and make it easy for somebody, I try to do that because I know how hard it is sometimes. Anyway, what was I talking about? Y'all, I can't remember. But anyway, numbering my videos. So for that reason, they're just not numbered. If you wanted to watch earlier ones, you just click on my home page, and I believe you click on videos, and then you can scroll all the way down to the bottom. But anyway, thank you, Glenda Sully. She has watched all my videos, y'all. And she didn't subscribe until, I think it was a few months ago, right, Glenda? But anyway, she has the cutest little channel. I don't know how she packs so much into under 10 minutes. She can show y'all how to make pound cake. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But it's not strictly cooking. So y'all run over there and see Glenda Sully, S-U-L-L-Y. Okay. I asked in one of my later videos for you guys to suggest a subject that you would like me to talk about. By the way, I'm on my way to Oceanside to see if a gentleman at Bread of Life can figure out a way to fix the legs on my new cot so that they're not going like that. So, one lady commented that she would like me to talk about I'm sorry, y'all, it's not funny. It's not funny, but it kind of is. She asked me to talk about divorce. And I guess I could be close to an expert on that subject. Now here's a car coming really fast, and he's going to want to get over. People just fly up to cars and hope that there's going to be this little spot they can run into. Yeah, my ADD is a little out of control today. But anyway, this lady, in all seriousness, asked me to talk about divorce. So, here we go. What I always tried to do, first of all, because I had children, I tried to never badmouth their fathers. It was hard sometimes, y'all. I just wanted to say, he doesn't show up when he says he's going to because he's an ass. And he doesn't deserve to be your daddy. But I never said that. I knew that as my children grew up, they would form their own opinions about their fathers. And they did. And so that's the first thing I would tell you, sweetie, is your children are under enough stress with a divorce that they do not need you to say bad things about their dad, no matter how bad he is. They will figure it out. The thing is that when you badmouth anybody, the people that you're talking to go on the defensive. And they don't want to believe it, so they make excuses. And you don't want that for your children. Trust me, you do not. The divorce is hard enough for them. Getting used to all the changes that are happening in their lives. Sometimes there's a move involved, which, sweetie, you said there's going to be. Separation from a parent, whether they're a good parent or not. And I'm speaking of fathers and mothers. Whether they're good or not, it is difficult on children. And people say, oh, children are so, they adapt, they're resilient. Yeah, no. Okay? No. They're only that way if you force them to be that way. They're little human beings that are hurt and confused and maybe angry. So, that's the first piece of advice I would give anybody that's going to get a divorce that has children. You must protect your children. The other thing I try not to do is fight with my spouse in front of my children. If you have to do that, get a sitter and leave the house and fight all you want to, but not in front of your babies. The second thing that I would say is that you really have a lot of control over how your divorce plays out. When I got my divorces, 6 of them, yeah, 6, I didn't want anything. I did not want to take furniture. I did not want to take their money. I really didn't even want child support, but you need that. You need it to help with your children. And I finally learned the lesson on that. But you have control over how it goes. You can fight. You can choose to fight and argue and bicker. Or you can choose to take the high road. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. But when I left pretty much everything. I took my kids, I took their clothes, I took my clothes, I took their toys. But other than that, y'all, I just wanted out. Things are just things, and you can replace them. So, you're really in charge of how your divorce goes. And I chose to take what I felt like was the easy way out. No fighting, no throwing things, no being accusatory. You're only hurting yourself. You're making the stress much worse than it has to be. Let them have the crap. Who cares? I've signed over houses before. I didn't care. I didn't want their stuff. Now, one thing I will say, that if you have been married to your spouse for over 10 years, there are some things that you are entitled to. Half their retirement when they retire. Their Social Security, if it's more than what yours is going to be. Now, I will say that I learned this after the fact. But when you take half of someone's retirement, you get that, but it doesn't reduce their amount of retirement. Now, I don't know exactly how that works, y'all. You got to do the research. But I have been told that by an attorney. Same thing with Social Security. I wish I had known that a long time ago when I refused it. But you live and learn. I have always had a fairly hot temper, I guess you could say. But y'all, don't make more of a mess and more stress on yourself, and most especially your children, than you absolutely have to. Now, I would say, and I feel strongly about this, that if you have children who have a good father, don't move away and take that father from your children. They need him, or mother for that matter. Children need their parents. Whether the parents still need each other has nothing to do with it. It doesn't. Your lousy relationship with your spouse should not enter in to what you provide for your children. I feel really strongly about that. Now, maybe there's a very good reason. Maybe he's abusive. Then you have to protect your kids from that, no matter what. But if it's possible, I feel strongly that you should stay within visiting distance of that parent, because your kids really need that. They're going to feel abandoned. They're going to be hurt. And it can cause problems later on in their life. Trust me, I know that. Things, furniture, houses, whatever, are not worth fighting over. They're not. Stress can make you sick. Sick. And again, if you have kids, they need you. Don't stress yourself out to the point that you're sick. You have to put your kids first. You just do. So, y'all, my first divorce, I got through legal aid, and it cost me $17. I was a single parent with my older son. I was not yet working. And so my divorce cost me $17. Now, divorce can take a different, sorry y'all, a different amount of time depending on where you live. Now, when I was in Arkansas, it only takes 30 days, y'all. You file it, it gets stamped, date and time, 6 months later, you're done. There's nothing funny about a divorce, y'all. So don't think that I'm laughing because I think there is. But there are some things when you look back on them, it is kind of funny. Now, when I was getting a divorce from my 6th husband, it was a mutual thing, y'all. I didn't dump him. He didn't dump me. We just decided that it was better that we live apart. So, I don't know what he was thinking. That, I think he thought that it was probably going to take a short amount of time. So when I figured it out and told him, it takes 6 months in California. The look on his face was priceless. I guess I had told him that in Arkansas, where I got my first 3 divorces, it took 30 days. So I guess he thought that it was the same out here. Now, I'm guessing that the reason for the 6 months is so that there's a cooling off period, y'all. There's a lot of people that have separated, said they were going to get a divorce, and then they got back together. That happens all the time, y'all. So I'm quite sure that that was the reason behind it taking 6 months, not 30 days. And it can be a good thing. But you have to figure out where you live, what the time limit is. Now, I never showed up in court to get a divorce. You file the papers. If the other person wants to contest it, and there are no contest divorces everywhere. It used to be a long, long time ago, you had to prove something like infidelity or abuse. And I mean, you needed hard facts. So, but now it's no contest. If one person wants out of the divorce, the other person really doesn't have a choice. You can get your divorce. If the other person wants to contest it, he goes to court or she goes to court. And then if the judge thinks that they have a good reason to not get a divorce, then of course the other person would have to show up. Rarely does that happen. Usually that happens if there's a big child custody thing, if there's a lot of property involved, especially wealthy people. That's kind of the good thing about not being wealthy, y'all, is there's not some big court thing you have to go through so that all these assets have to be divided. Now, California is a community property state, and that means that when a couple splits, the assets get split 50-50. Unless, of course, it's something that one person has inherited, or you have a prenup. I don't know. There are some reasons, but for most cases, it's like that. I don't think that it's right for the mother or the father to get full physical custody if the other parent wants to stay really involved in the child's life. I never did that with my kids. Their dad was always able to have as much visitation, time to spend with their child as they wanted. Unfortunately, neither one of them were too interested in that. But I guess that's all I can say about divorce from my perspective. Don't fight if you can help it at all. Never fight in front of your children. Don't badmouth your spouse in front of your children. You have a duty to protect them. And if you can at all, stay close so they can have a relationship with that parent. They need it. So if you have any other questions that I haven't addressed, let me know and I will try to cover those. So y'all do something fun today. I'm going to try to figure out a solution for the legs for the bed cot. Love y'all. Bye now.